Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in the most recent bargain bead box, the one for January 2024. It's called A Galaxy of Gems. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go over everything that came in the box. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. These beads are just so beautiful. I've already made a necklace and a bracelet and an earring set, and now I'm going to make a necklace today, and I've still got a ton of beads left. I think I could probably make a piece of jewelry every day for a month and not use all these beads up. It's just such a great value box. I can't recommend it enough. It's just a really, really great deal. In here I've got the 8mm Sodalite beads. In here I've got the 8mm Aqua Quartz beads. In here I've got the 4mm Metallic Blue Iris Bicone beads. In here I've got the 30mm Sodalite Triangle Pendant. And I've got one of the 6mm Blue Goldstone beads. And I have a piece of 22 gauge German style wire in gold that I'm going to use. All this I'm going to use at the focal area. Got some bead caps from my stash. I've got my Miyuki 11.0 Duracoat galvanized gold seed beads that I'm going to use as spacers. And here I've got some findings. I've got a lobster clasp, a couple of pieces of chain, a little piece of paperclip chain I'm going to use as an extender, some 4mm jump rings, one 8mm jump ring, two 2x2 crimp tubes, and two wire guardians. And I've got one of the little star charms, or they could be links, either one, and I'm going to hang that off the extender chain as an angle. I'm using my Soft Flex beading wire. This is metallics, and it's in fine, and it's 21 strand. This is the copper color. I don't have any gold, but by the time I get done putting all the beads on here, you're not going to be able to see the wire anyway, and I really do need to get some gold, though I've just never had any. I don't know why, but for some reason I have a ton of this copper, so I need to use it. Of course, you can use whatever bead stringing wire you want to. I'll be using my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my run nose pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, both pairs of my crimping pliers, and both pairs of my cutters. A lot of these I'll just be using when I make this little focal part here. This is going to be a really easy, simple necklace. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wire in when I cut it off. I think that's everything. I'll put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below. Everything that didn't come in the box. So hold on, I get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beads out here now, and the first thing I'm going to do is make my focal. And I've got about a 3.5 inch piece of my German style wire here. I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches. Bend over at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. I'm going to bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. I'm going to take my first I've got to open my loop. I'm going to thread on my pendant. Now I'm going to close my loop back. Now I'm going to hold on to my loop. I'm going to take this short piece of wire and wrap it around the longer piece of wire about 3 times. Cut that a little short. I just barely got it around there 3 times. Now I'm going to take my cutters And I use a different pair of cutters to cut craft wire and head pins and eye pins than I do to cut bead stringing wire. I'm going to cut off this little extra piece of wire here. Now I'm going to take my little goldstone bead and put it on here. Blue goldstone. And I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go to the very tip of the pliers because I don't want a very long neck, because I want the same amount of wraps at the top of this bead as I do down here. And I've discovered that if I go to the very tip of the pliers, that will get me about 3 wraps like I did down there. I'm going to bend over at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. And that usually stands my little piece of wire there almost straight up. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring my wire down a little bit. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and I'm going to start wrapping. I want to make sure to get that first wrap in under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. I'm just going to keep wrapping until there's no more room to wrap. And now I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. And I use these crimping pliers. I use the little half circles at the end to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. Of course, a lot of people just use regular pliers to do this with. I just find that the circular part of the crimping pliers seems to do it better for me. So that's going to be my focal. So now I'm going to string up, and I'll string up one side of this, and then I'll do the other side off camera because it'll be just exactly like the first side I'm going to string up. And I forgot to mention I've got my bead stopper here. And I usually always, if I know what my design's going to be, I leave my wire attached to the spool until I'm ready to cut it off. Until I get all the beads strung on here, I just kind of feel like maybe I don't waste as much wire that, or yeah, as much wire that way. So first of all, I'm going to do a bead cap. And one of my aqua quartz beads. And a bead cap. I need to get my 11-0s over here so I can pick them up. I'm going to pick up an 11-0. Another bead cap. Quartz bead. Bead cap. 11-0. Bead cap. Quartz bead. Bead cap. 11-0. And I'm going to do a bicone. Another 11-0. And then a bead cap. One of my Sodalite beads. Bead cap. 11-0. Bicone. 11-0. Bead cap. Sodalite bead. Bead cap. 11-0. bead cap, Sodalite bead, bead cap, 11-0, bead cap. Got to throw those little filigree bead caps down every now and then, make sure that they like to nestle in each other. Another Sodalite bead, bead cap, 11-0, bicone, 11-0, bead cap, Sodalite bead, bead cap, 11-0, bicone, 11-0, bead cap, quartz bead, bead cap, 11-0, bicone, bead cap, quartz bead, bead cap, I think that was 2 nestled in 1 there, 11-0, bead cap, quartz bead, bead cap, 11-0, bead cap, quartz bead, bead cap, 11-0, bicone, 11-0, bead cap, quartz bead, bead cap, 11-0, bicone, 11-0. Now I'm going to thread on my focal here. And then I'm going to do another bicone. And when I get done and string this and crimp it, I'm going to make sure that my focal is hanging over top of that little 11-0 there, so it's not hanging right against my bead stringing wire. So that is, get all this out of the way here. That's the first side of my necklace. Now I'm just going to string up the other side exactly like this side, and when I get done I'll come back and we'll crimp it. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got my necklace all strung up now, and I'm going to crimp it. And y'all probably noticed when I strung this first side up, I missed an 11-0 down in here somewhere. I always have exactly the number of beads I need counted out before I do this. And if I get to the end and I have an extra bead, I know I've done something wrong. And when I got to the end, I had an extra 11-0. So I knew I missed one somewhere. And I went back and looked, and it was right down in here somewhere I had missed an 11-0. So I had to go back and put that in. So if you saw that, I went back and fixed it. So now I'm going to crimp. So I'm going to put my crimp tube on here and my wire guardian. And I'm going to go down the other channel of my wire guardian. Go back through my crimp tube. Make sure to hold my wires apart so that they don't get crossed in there. Because when we crimp, we want both of our wires to go in their own little separate channels, and they won't do that if the wires are crossed. I'm going to tuck my wire guardian in just a little bit here. Very gently, because it's real easy to destroy these. I've destroyed many. Pull my wire through. Hold my wires apart. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'll zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go in that part that has the tooth. I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to the part up here that has half circles on each side. I'm going to go in the one in the middle, because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. I'm going to lay my crimp in there. Squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to push all this down and cut my wire off my spool. I'm going to crimp on this side. Put my crimp tube on. My wire guardian. I left an awful lot of long piece of wire on this side. Wasted after all, but I don't want to have too little on this side and be struggling trying to get it through there. Now I'm going to go back down the other channel of my wire guardian, back through my crimp tube. Keep my wires from being crossed. And I always go through a bead on this side because it helps get my hands out of the way when I'm trying to crimp, and it centers my wire guardian over this last bead. If I can, I go through a bead. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes if the hole's too little, you just can't. But if I can, I usually do. I want to get through that bead cap too. Okay, now I'll hold on to my wire guardian. I'm going to pull my wire through. Turn everything around here. Make sure nothing's crossed like I think it's trying to be crossed. Hold on to my wire guardian. Pull my wire through. I'm going to tuck my little wire guardian in here. Just a little bit. Okay, now I don't want there to be any slack in my piece. I don't want it to be too tight. I want to make sure my little focal here is hanging over top of that seed bead, and it is. I want to make sure all my bead caps are in place. And see, that one right there is not. I need to fix that. That was about to get unruly, and I see I have come through the wrong hole of that filigree bead cap. It's really easy to do that with these filigree bead caps. They've got so many holes in them. It's easy to get through the wrong hole. I'm glad I saw that before I crimped it. I would have had to do it all over. Okay, now let's see. Get this back together here. Glad it wasn't in the middle of the necklace. I would have had to take a lot apart and do it over. Glad it was on the end. It's another good reason to check everything before you crimp it, do your final crimping. It's really a bummer when you get everything crimped and done and then you see a little mistake like that. Okay, now I'm going to put my crimp tube back on. Wire guardian. Go down the other channel of the wire guardian. back through my crimp tube. Hold everything apart, make sure that nothing's crossed. Go back through this last bead again. Make sure to get back through my crimp tube, my bead cap. Hold on to my wire guardian, pull my wire through. Okay, now I'm going to check everything again. Make sure everything's laying the way it's supposed to be, and none of my bead caps are out of place like that one was, and I think it all looks good now. And you want to make sure there's no slack in your piece, but you don't want it to be too tight either, because if it's too tight it won't drape well. So I usually leave it kind of circled up like this, and that keeps it from being too tight. So now I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go on the part with the tooth again. Lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. Now I'm going to go into that part with the half circles again. Squeeze. Now I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what I've got now. Now all I got to do is put my bindings on. So I've got them right here. Got a couple of pieces of chain. These are about 2.5 inches each. These pieces of chain are. I usually go for about a 21-inch necklace, something like that. Usually seems to be good for most people. Now I'm gonna take this little 4mm jump ring here. I'll use my tweezer pliers. I can handle these little tiny jump rings better with my tweezer pliers than I can the others. Open up my jump ring, put one side of my chain on, one side of my necklace, close my jump ring back, make sure to get it closed really well. Another 4mm jump ring. Open it up, put my other chain on. Other side of my necklace. Close that up really well. Take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. I'll put this side of my chain on. And my lobster clasp. Close my jump ring back. Now I'm going to take my 8mm jump ring, open it up, put it on my chain, and I have a little piece of extender chain here. It's about 2 inches. Close this up. Make sure to get it closed up really well. It usually helps if you go past it and then come back. When you do your jump ring, you go past where it meets and then come back. It's easier to get it closed up well that way. Now I'm going to take another 4mm gem ring. I can find the slit in it. I'm going to put it on the end of my extender chain and put my little star on here. Close my jump ring back. So there's my little dangle. So there it is. We're all done now. So hold on, let me see if I can get it laid out here. Clean up some of my stuff and I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace all done, made with some of the beads from the most recent bargain bead box, the Galaxy of Gems collection for January 2024. This is such a beautiful box. I always love their boxes, and it is such a really, really great value, a really great deal. If you enjoy beading and making jewelry, this is definitely a great box to have. Like I said, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just wonderful. And if you're not a subscriber and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. I also sell some extra beads and findings that I have, and I sell gift cards. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.